All right, today we are going to write linear systems to model real-world problems and solve them by multiplying first. So what if there are no common coefficients when we're trying to add the two equations together? We're going to multiply one or both equations by the number to create matching coefficients. So the directions are: use the elimination method to solve the system and show all work. It is important that you show all work because I can't read your mind. So on your homework today, make sure that you show all of your work, and that way I can give you partial credit and I can see where you're going wrong. So looking at example number 1, if you try to add the two equations together, there's an understood 1 right here. 1 plus -2 is -1. Nothing cancels there. 1 plus 2 is 3. Nothing cancels there. They are lined up, but nothing cancels. So we're going to have to multiply one of the equations, or both of the equations in this case, by something. So looking at step 1, they are lined up already. So we're going to go ahead and multiply both equations by a number. So looking at step 1, they're lined up. We're going to multiply the first equation Step 1 is making sure that they're lined up. And they are lined up. Step 2 is writing out what we're multiplying by. We're going to cancel the x's because they're already opposite signs here. So we're going to multiply the top equation by this bottom number. The bottom number is 2 that we're going to multiply by. So let me get a different color so that way it stands out a little bit better, because blue and purple are too close together. We're going to take and multiply the top equation by 2. 1x plus 1y equals 11. And then we'll multiply the bottom equation by 1. And that's that number right there. -2x plus 2y equals 18. All we did was flip those two numbers. Okay, we just switched them, and now we're going to multiply every single term by those numbers. So in step 3, we're going to rewrite those two equations with them multiplied out. So the top one, 2 times 1 is 2x. 2 times 1y is a positive 2y equals 2 times 11 is 22. Now, all we did was create an equivalent equation. These two equations are the exact same thing. We just multiplied that equation by 2. Looking at the bottom equation now, 1 times anything is just itself. So it's going to be the exact same equation, just multiplied by 1. So I've got -2x plus 2y equals 18. Now we're going to add the two equations together. We're trying to get rid of this one right here. 2x plus -2x is 0 x's, so we can just cross them out. 2y plus 2y is 4y equals 22 plus 18 is 40. So that is actually step 4, is to add them together. So we've got 4y equals 40. We're going to solve this equation now. 4y. Divide both sides by 4. So y is equal to 10. That's your first important piece of information. Now, you're going to plug that back into one of the original equations. I'm just going to pick the top one. I'm going to take the original. Yes, you can take the bottom one and get the exact same thing. So I'm going to pick the top one because it's an easier equation. So we've got x plus y equals 11. I'm going to plug in 10 where my y is. And anytime you plug in a number for a variable, you use parentheses, even if nothing's happening to it. And you solve. It's the same thing. 1 times x is just x. Now, we're going to solve this thing for x. So we must subtract 10 from both sides. My 10's cancel. We're left with x is equal to 11 minus 10 is 1. That's my second important piece of information. Now you write it as an ordered pair. So my ordered pair is x and then y. No matter which way that you solved it first, it's always x and then y. So it's 1, 10. It's a 6.4a. All right, turn the page. Example 2. You're always looking for the terms that have opposite signs. So which one has opposite signs, x or y? The y. So let's get rid of the y. So in this case, we are going to multiply the top equation by the 7. And we're going to multiply it by a positive 7 because they're already opposite signs. And we're going to multiply the bottom equation by 3. Because we just switched those two numbers is all we did. Now, we're going to rewrite these two equations. 7 times x is 7x. 7 times 3y is 21y. And 7 times 6, don't forget to go across that equal sign. 7 times 6 is 42. Now we're going to do the bottom one. 3 times 2 is 6x. 3 times negative 7 is negative 21y equals 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. Now we're going to add the two equations together because they are different signs. So we're adding them together. 7x plus 6x is 13x. Positive 21y plus negative 21y is 0, so you can mark them out. And that's equal to 39. Now we're going to divide both sides by 13. My 13s cancel, so x is equal to 3. My first important piece of information, so I'm going to put a box around it so I don't lose it in my work. Now I'm going to take that and plug it into one of the original typed equations, and I'm just going to pick the top one. So I've got 3 plus 3y equals 6. Now I got to try to get rid of that 3. In order to get rid of the 3, I'm going to subtract 3 on both sides of the equal sign. My 3's cancel. I'm left with 3y equals 3. I will divide both sides by 3. So y equals 1. So my ordered pair would be 3, 1. Looking at example number 3. We're looking for opposite signs. So my x's are both positive, my y's is positive and negative. So my 3's are both positive and negative. Or not my 3's, my y's. Sorry, my y's are both positive and negative, so that's what we're going to cancel. So I'm going to multiply my top equation by a positive 2. And I'm going to multiply my bottom equation by a positive 1 because it's an understood 1 in front of that y. So as I rewrite it, 2 times x is 2x. 2 times y is a positive 2y. And 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. 1 times anything is itself. So this bottom equation is just going to be rewritten as 5x minus 2y equals negative 50. Now I'm going to add the two equations together. Now this is just like it was yesterday and the day before. So when we add the two equations together, 2x plus 5x is 7x. Positive 2y plus negative 2y cancels, equals negative 6 plus negative 50 is negative 56. We'll divide both sides by 7, so x equals negative 8. There's my important piece of information, so I put a box around it. Now, I'm going to take that negative 8 and plug it back into the original equation, and I'm just going to pick the top one for simplistic purposes. So I've got negative 8 in parentheses plus y equals negative 3. Now I'm going to add 8 to both sides of the equal sign. My 8's cancel. I'm left with y is equal to 5. That's my other part of my ordered pair, so my ordered pair would be negative 8, 5. Example 4. This time, there is no opposites. So we're going to have to create opposites. Do you want to get rid of the x's or the y's? And it doesn't matter on this one. Which one do you want to get rid of, Jacob? Okay, because the y's are easier. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yeah. Because we're going to create opposite signs. All right. Actually, you might have to subtract. If they're the same sign, subtract. Remember that. Same sign, subtract. Opposite signs, add. So this one, we will have to subtract. Okay, Miranda? So looking at this one, what are we going to multiply the top equation by if we're going to cancel the y's? We're just going to, instead of doing that, Jacob, yes, that is correct. You can do it that way. But we're just going to switch the numbers. So we're going to multiply it by 8. Yes, that is perfectly fine, Jacob. So we're going to multiply that top equation by 8. And what are we going to multiply the bottom equation by? 4. Because all we're doing is switching these two numbers. That way you don't have to think about it. All right, so the top equation, 8 times 3 is 24. Jacob, we're going to get bigger numbers here than you are. But it's going to come out to be the same thing at the end. That's correct. Okay. Yes. Yes. So plus 8 times 4 is 32. Y equals 8 times 6 is 48. Now, 7 times 4 is 28. X. 4 times 8 is 32. Y equals 4 times 10 is 40. Now, thinking back to yesterday, if they're the same sign, what do? Subtract. So we're going to subtract these two. 24 minus 28 is negative 4x. 32 minus 32 is 0. So we can mark that out. And 48 minus 40 is 8. Now, we're going to divide both sides by negative 4. So x equals negative 2. And now we're going to plug that negative 2 back into one of the originals. And it doesn't matter if you pick top or bottom. I'm just going to pick top for simplistic purposes. So 3 times negative 2 plus 4y equals 6. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6 plus 4y equals 6. We're going to add 6 to both sides. My 6's cancel. We're left with 4y equals 12. Divide by 4. So y is equal to 3. So my ordered pair is negative 2, 3. Yes, yes, as long as you show your work. Yep. All right, let's look at example 5 because example 5 is a little bit different. What do you notice about example 5? Sorry. They're not lined up, right? So we need to make sure that they are lined up. So what do we need to do to that top equation to make it lined up? Move the y to the other side. So in order to move this y, oh, you can't see that. There you go. To move this y to the other side, we're going to have to subtract 4y on both sides. So that's going to give us 2x, okay, minus 4y equals 18. Now they're lined up, but we have a negative and a positive and two negatives. So let's try to get rid of our x's because that's what's going to make it easier. So in order to get rid of the two x's, we're going to multiply the top equation by 2. And what are we going to multiply the bottom equation by? By 10. So the top equation, 2 times negative 10x is negative 20x. Minus 24y equals 12. And then the bottom equation, we've got 10 times 2 is 20x. 10 times negative 4 is negative 40. Y equals 10 times 18 is 180. Now we're going to add the two equations together because they have different signs. Different signs means you add. So negative 20x plus 20x is 0. Negative 24 plus negative 40 is negative 64. Y equals 180 plus 12 is 192. We're going to divide both sides by negative 64. So y is equal to negative 3. Now that we have that, we're going to plug it back into the original equation. And I'm just going to use that top one for simplistic purposes. So we've got 2x equals 4 times negative 3 plus 18. There's no variables on this side now, so we can type that in directly as we see it. So 4 times negative 3 is negative 12, plus 18 is 6. So we've got 2x equals 6. So then we have to divide both sides by 2. So x equals 3. There's my next important piece of information. So my ordered pair would be 3, negative 3. All right, we just finished up the lesson in 23 minutes, and now you have the rest of the time to work on your pair assessment. This is how you multiply first on solving by elimination.